The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.
All right, welcome everybody. This is June 1st and we are kicking off our Habits of Health support meeting. For those of you that are brand new to this particular meeting, this is an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about the long-term habits of health. We end up using this call to really equip all of our clients and coaches on the tools and tactics and strategies to really incorporate Dr. A's Habits of Health. Many of you are very familiar with the book and the workbook and the companion guide and the Discover Your Optimal Health book that Dr. Anderson's written. Those are our coaching guides and our coaching curriculums. They're self-study resources that we guide individual participants and clients through. And each and every one of us has our own individual journey, but all of us can use the same system to find great success in Take Shape for Life. We're going to hear a lot of different ideas tonight. I think that they'll be applicable for everybody, but for some reason, if you have a question or concern about some of the strategies, please make sure you reach back to your health coach and ask for that clarification in regards to how it applies to your journey. Many of you already know I've had a transformation that happened 7 years ago on Take Shape for Life. I ended up losing 100 pounds, and it just was a major transformation for my life, and I was able to transform not only my physical health, but also my mental health, which led into a transformation of my financial health and my vocational health. The opportunity to improve still rolls on. And tonight's topic is going to be right out of Dr. A's book, chapter 21, and I'm going to share with you on the topic of living life on purpose. We're going to talk about how to develop your personal health optimization plan. We're going to talk about improving your well-being score. Some of this may be new to you, but we're going to really get down and dirty on how to live on purpose and how to optimize your nutrition and health. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. If you have questions or concerns or comments, please use the chat message liberally and throw out your questions and ideas, and we'll join this journey together. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just in the perspective of, a lot of times in our life we can look into the rearview mirror, and we're not looking towards the future. We can look at what we've done, what we've accomplished, what we've lost in terms of weight or inches and bad habits. But oftentimes, we're not focused in on the future because we don't come from an environment that focuses on the future. We didn't go to, focus on the future class 101. Maybe some of you did, but the schools that I went through didn't end up teaching that. That's why Take Shape for Life is such a unique program, and Dr. A's Habits of Health book is so innovative, because it really helps us to learn how to think about creating health in our life and looking into the windshield of our lives and focusing in on our desired outcomes and where we'd like to go versus looking into the rearview mirror and what we've been in the past or what we've achieved in the past. This is about creating health in your life. It's not about achieving a certain goal weight and then trying to maintain that weight. We're not Weight Watchers. While we do recommend that people do maintain a healthy body weight, that's just one phase of our program, is getting a person to that weight and then helping them to maintain it. We also have a phase that ends up allowing you to optimize your health. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the book to talk about the different phases, I'll show that to you tonight. For some reason, there sounds like somebody that came off of mute, and if you can mute yourself, that would be really beneficial, just because it'll keep the call quality really healthy for this particular call. So let me, somebody's not muting themselves, so let me see if I can end up muting everybody again. All right, I think we got everybody muted. All right, so in terms of looking through the windshield, let's just do kind of a quick assessment and determine where you are at today so that we can really clarify what an optimal life and an optimal healthy life looks like for you. Some of you have done this well-being evaluation. It's listed on your coach's website, so if you just go to your coach's website and you go over to the support tab. Over on the support tab, there's a link on the left-hand side as soon as you click on support where you can take this well-being evaluation. There's 3 different sections: physical, mental, and financial health. What I'm showing you here today is just more of a summary that's on the second page of that assessment. And wait, somebody's trying to annotate on my system here. What's going on? You guys are getting a little bit naughty. We're going to have to start shutting you guys down. So hold on one second. We're going to have to get out this clear method. All right. So no more annotating on my presentation here, hotshots. So in terms of our program, we like to be able to evaluate where individuals are at in their in all areas of their health: physical, mental, and financial. So hopefully, as I was talking and you're looking at the screen, for those of you that are driving or you're listening to this when you're not watching your screen, there's 3 different categories: physical, mental, and financial health. And then there's different ratings: bad, poor, fair, good, great, and optimum. So each one of the areas in our life can be graded. And you may have gone through this kind of assessment before. It's not a scientific assessment. It's more of just a self-conclusion of where you are in each area of your life. But what Dr. Anderson is trying to approach is to really help you to understand that everything affects everything. And to create an optimally healthy life and an optimal healthy body, you have to be able to be working on the small habits that go with each one of these particular categories. You could be physically fantastic, but mentally broken. You could be physically healthy, mentally happy, but financially broken. And if any one of these are broken or lacking, they will begin to seep into the other areas. And when I was first going through the program, I didn't think that it really affected me that much. But as I began to start seeing how they were intertwined, 7 years ago, I lost the weight. And then the real journey started to learn this idea of how to optimize my health and how to optimize my life, and to actually look into the future and say, how can I create a healthier me? And when I took the well-being evaluation, it began to awaken me to the idea that I was more successful than I was significant. And I want to ask you the question: are you more successful than you are significant? Maybe you're not very successful at all. Maybe you're feeling a bit burned out. Maybe you're depressed and you're failing in life and you're not significant. You know what? There's hope for all of us, regardless of where you find yourself in this diagram called the success fulfillment continuum. You can end up you can create a healthier you. Right now, you may be doing really well with your physical well-being, but you may not be doing well with your mental well-being. Or maybe you're not doing so great with your career. Maybe you make a ton of money, but it's just lacking purpose and it's lacking fulfillment. And maybe a change is due. Or maybe there's something that you don't really have to change dramatically, but there's something that you can do to start moving you into that fulfilled and successful quadrant. That's what we want to do with Take Shape for Life. We don't want to tell you how to live your life. If you're feeling awesome and being successful, but you're not really thriving and feeling significant, hey, that's okay by us. But we just know from previous experience that most people that are not being fulfilled and being successful and significant are oftentimes going to fall prey to some unhealthy choices, which is going to lead them to some level of bad health. Many of us have grown up in a success economy, and we've tried to pursue success at all means. And oftentimes, as the quote A.J. Materi says, is that so many of us sacrifice our health to earn our wealth, and then we sacrifice our wealth to earn our health again. So it's kind of a backwards mentality. But as Dr. A quotes inside of the book, is that despite our material wealth, our generation ranks the quality of our lives lower than our parents for the first time in American history. A sad statistic for being one of the richest countries in the history of our world. But where are you at in this whole idea of success? Are you feeling more success in your life than ever before? Are you feeling like you're grasping success, but it's just not happening? The more successful you get, the farther you are away from being fulfilled. A good optimal life plan, working with your health coach to really help you to plan out what a fulfilled life looks like, can help you to get back on the right track. Because right now, as the famous author Stephen Covey says, is that some people are so busy driving that they forget to stop and get gas. And you may be getting to the point where you're running out of fuel. You're running out of energy to go out there and get the success, and you may not make it to the next fueling station before you have a little bit of a breakdown. Or as Stephen Covey also says, is that sometimes we're climbing the ladder of success, but then we find out that the ladder was leaning against the wrong building. And to a certain extent, I felt that when I was in my world of being in this success-minded person. I thought success was being financially successful. But as I pursued financial success, even as I earned more and more money, I became more and more focused on earning more money. It never was enough. And this is where Dr. A's focus on being a purpose-driven person, or being a person that's on purpose, really start to ring true with me. And he quotes in his book, "As a physician and life coach, I've found that if someone is lacking a true sense of purpose in their life, creating health is an uphill battle." So what about you? In your life right now, do you have a sense of purpose in your life? Do you have a calling that you're following? Or do you have a dream that you're pursuing? Do you have a mission in your life that you are carrying out? Do you feel like you're living your life on purpose, called to a purpose? Or do you feel like that you're just existing, waking up every day, going to work, raising the kids, without any true sense of a calling in your life? This is where we want to help focus you on the path to optimal health as you begin to lose the weight and start incorporating more exercise and healthy eating into your nutrition plan, and more sleep and good support systems and stress management tactics. We want to help you to go beyond just the idea of getting to a healthier body, but we want to help you to use the system to create optimal health in every aspect of your life. And if you think of this program simply as the diet, or as the food, or the magic food program, you're not alone, because many of us started the program with that mindset. But oftentimes it takes a person to really plug into the system before they understand the true power of the system and where the system can take them in their life. There's a great quote that says that people do one thing predictably, and that is that they act unpredictable. And without a good plan and without a good system, it's pretty predictable that individuals that start the Take Shape for Life program are going to sooner or later find themselves in unpredictable circumstances. They're going to be frustrated with the program. They're going to reach a plateau because they fully didn't leverage the whole entire system. They just use a portion of the system. And so I would strongly encourage you, if you have not had a chance to talk to your coach about what the system can really do for you, the full offering of Take Shape for Life, if you ask your coach, what does the full offering mean to Take Shape for Life? And how can I learn more about plugging into the full system? I think that it'll be an awakening to you, that you won't be ashamed, or that you ask the question. And as Dr. Anderson talked about, this idea of an uphill battle. If a person doesn't have purpose in their life, getting healthy is an uphill battle. It's an even steeper battle without purpose, but it is an uphill climb when you're trying to get healthy. When you join up with the program, you first start this process and you start, incorporating Dr. A's habits of health using very simple strategy. But oftentimes you get to a peak and you have to continue to climb. Otherwise, you'll start finding your way back down the mountain, and you'll go back to some of those previous peaks that you had in your past, and you won't climb towards an optimal life. Even with a great purpose, in your life, it's still a path of resistance. And what our program is designed to do is to help you to use the system to overcome the barriers to climbing the mountain of optimal health, and to not get caught up in a comfort cave. I love this visual because it's got a picture of a road and this mountain in the background. And I kind of like the mountain analogy. Some of you may not identify with it. But one of the great quotes that Vince Lombardi said is, "The man on top of the mountain didn't fall there." And the people that create optimal health in their life and create an optimal life, they're the ones that are the extraordinary ones. There's really only two types of people in the world. There's the ones that go out and live their dreams and change their world. And then there's all those other people that depend on those people that live their dreams and change their world. So what about you? What's your mountaintop in terms of optimal health and optimal living? Is there something that's needing to be accomplished? Is there something that's a goal out there that you can cast into the future of 2016 or maybe even beyond that to help you to reach your next peak? Dr. Anderson likes to ask the question often, if you could achieve optimal health in your life, would you want it? And this great picture shows these two people standing atop a mountain looking down. If you could be on a mountaintop, somewhere beyond where you are today, if you could create that, don't think of it as can you create it, but if you could, would you want that? For those people that say yes, we have a system that can help you to get to your next peak, but it's going to require you to plug in. You're going to have to take the steps. You're going to have to go back and kind of relearn or go back to school to learn how to take the steps to create optimal health and optimal living into your life. This is a simple reminder of the steps that we take in our program. Where are you at in your journey? Have you done the steps? Have you prepared for the journey? Have you reached your healthy weight? Have you transitioned to healthy eating? Or are you a slave to the 5 and 1, where you're 5 and 1 6 days a week and 1 day off, and then you just continue to use the 5 and 1 with some cheat meals in between? Have you really learned how to adopt the habits of health? Or could maybe that be your next step to achieve your optimal health? Maybe it's that book that's been a little bit intimidating. Maybe you could start to consume a page of that a day as a part of your optimal plan to start becoming more on purpose. Maybe you just need to open it up to chapter 21 and you need to dig down deep to find out if there's something in there that maybe you need to know about living a more purpose-driven life and creating a lifestyle and a stress-free lifestyle. Doesn't necessarily mean that you won't have stress. It's how you respond to stress that Dr. Anderson teaches you and coaches you on how to apply the principles of stop, challenge, and choose, and how to apply the principles of organizing your life around what matters most so that you can optimize your health regardless of what your age is. Some of us that are getting older, I'm over 40 now, and they say that the average American dies at the age of 40. They just don't bury them until the age of 82. The Les Brown quote is such a popular one in the circles that I run in. And what I love about it is the fact that you can be reborn again at the age of 40 or 50 or 60. Age is just a number as long as you're living well, right? And there's a lot of people, including Dr. Anderson, that would give you his age and you would be blown away by the way that he acts. He acts so youthful. Well, that didn't happen by accident. He has done the things that he tells other people to do to create that level of exuberance and energy, and you can too. And you can live a longer, healthier life if you will optimize your personal plan. This is a kind of a detailed look of what an optimization plan looks like in terms of physical health. Utilizing some of our optimal health products, which are 7 great, tasty products for those people that have reached their healthy weight and have transitioned to eating more healthy, natural foods. You can utilize some of our shakes and some of our bars and our smoothies. There's great products that are available. Plus, there's all of the meal replacements that are so healthy as snacks that you can continue to use. But if you're using the food as a diet, if you're going out there to eat some of that unhealthy foods and then you're kind of putting yourself back on the 5 and 1, that really isn't what Take Shape for Life is meant for. It is something that we've all done, but it's moving towards learning how to transition towards eating those healthier natural foods and really desiring healthier, nutritious meals rather than going after some of those things that maybe are, helpful to the appetites and the instincts and desires that Dr. Anderson talks about in his workbook. This is the bottom section of the optimization plan, is really looking towards sleep and support systems. Where are you at in terms of your support system? Have you surrounded yourself with a healthier environment? Are you living in a stress-free world? Are you creating a barrier or a microenvironment of stress relief around you by just the world that you live in? Are you doing some good breathing? Are you doing the mindfulness and some of the things that Dr. Anderson teaches inside of his ebook? There's so many great resources that can show you how to create optimal physical health, but then also creating optimal mental health. And, many of us health coaches who've had a chance to be around a lot of different clients have found that it's not always, what the food is or what the food is that people are consuming. That's not necessarily the problem. It usually comes back to what's consuming the client. And it oftentimes is a career or some other thing that's really creating a lot of stress on them. And so one of the things that we challenge our clients to do is to think about what it is that they would really like to be, do, and have. To maybe even think about making a career change. If your career is making you a lot of money, but it's not giving you a lot of purpose, if you don't have a lot of passion and mission to your work, there may be a requirement for you to make a shift, for you to ultimately have optimal health. And I know when you make good money, it's hard to give up on something that is, giving you financial rewards. But as Dr. Anderson talks about, is that if you don't end up putting yourself into vocational well-being, you're likely going to struggle with your own personal health long-term, because those environmental factors and just that lack of fulfillment inside of you is going to prevent you from achieving the optimal well-being that you'd like to create in your life. So when it comes down to your purpose, is there something out there that you've been dreaming of doing? Is there a calling that you could pursue? Is there something that you could end up doing that would maybe be something that you could start in your spare time, whether it's a hobby or maybe it's turning into maybe more of a career? Or maybe it's something that you'd like to make a jump and maybe there's a real opportunity for you to go full time with that. Maybe a conversation with your coach to just explore the options. It doesn't mean that you have to do any options, but just explore it. I know when my coach first asked me, if I wanted to become a health coach, I thought the guy was nuts. I thought, you don't know my schedule, man. I'm busy. I can't be spending time talking to people about their diet. Man, how dumb I was. I really didn't know what I didn't know about health coaching. And what I've learned over the last 7 years is that it was exactly what I was called to do. And I'm able to tell you today that, what I knew 7 years ago about my life and who I was, I didn't have that same perspective as I do today. And the only way that I would have gotten there is if I plugged into the system, the full system, the books, the workbooks, the calls, the videos, and everything that Take Shape for Life has to offer. You may be in a great job. You may have a great opportunity in front of you, but that may be one of the things that's holding you back from optimal health. Maybe it's that commute that has left you away from your kids and being a part of your kids' soccer games, or maybe being a part of friendship circles because you're constantly in the car, or the boss is asking you to stick around late. Or maybe it's just the fact that you're just in this stressful environment, and that's just causing you to come home and just eat everything in the cupboards that's not Take Shape for Life related. Hey, been there, done that. I had to make a shift. I left a really strong six-figure income to go do what I really wanted to do. And it was a huge shift. A lot of people said it was career suicide. They said, "You're doing what? You're following your dream? That's great, Dave, but do you think it'll work?" I didn't know if it would work, but I knew that I had to create a change in my life if I truly wanted to sustain the change that I had created in my well-being. And so I made the shift. And some of you, that may be your next move for your optimal health. And some of you, it may not be. But if I could throw a couple questions out to you, I'm not going to do all the talking tonight. I want to just throw some questions out to you. And I want you to really reflect on the words that I'm going to say to you, okay? The first question is, for your life to be optimal, what one big thing needs to change? One thing. If you could nail it down to one big thing, I like to call it the arsonist in your life, the thing that just continues to cause fires in your life. What is it that needs to change? Or what's that big hole that needs to be fulfilled? You know what that is? Write it down. Make it to be a part of your optimal health plan. Here's another question. What one decision would you make if you knew you would not fail? So many of us have been scared out of living our dreams and following our hearts and following the calling in our life. So we've accepted this ordinary life that everybody else says is a good life. But it's not in the back of our mind. Dr. A quotes Helen Keller in chapter 21 of The Habits of Health, and she says, "Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in danger It does not exist, and danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Is your life a daring adventure, or are you comfortable? Good paying job, good, nice cars in the garage, nice house, nice neighbors, and inside you're dying to do what you've always felt like you wanted to do. What's holding you back from reaching your full potential? Has something put chains around your legs that feels like you're dragging something that's weighing you down from reaching your next peak in your life? Could maybe your optimal plan include some bolt cutters or some chain cutters to cut that chain? Maybe it's an addiction, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a lack of information, a lack of education, maybe it's the idea of going back to school, or maybe it's the idea of becoming a health coach. I tell you what, I've reached so much more in my potential because I have done the thing that I didn't think that I wanted to do. Another great question is to ask, what's the one thing that you can do to increase your financial peace of mind? Financial stress is one of the number one causes of divorce and relationship unrest. Maybe the idea that you've gotten unhealthier, or maybe you've struggled with your health, is because that financial burden has felt like an albatross around your neck. What could you do in your spare time, part-time, or maybe even full-time to increase your financial peace of mind? It may require you downsizing to get to the point where you can upsize again. It may require you to make a shift into, get into a financial counseling class. That's an optimal life. It may feel like a couple steps backwards, but sometimes you got to take the slingshot theory, and you got to take a couple steps back before you can really fly. An optimal health plan and an optimal life plan is just more exciting in terms of your life. Once you have clarity of where you're going and why you're going there and when you want to get there, and you have a good understanding of where you are today by taking that well-being evaluation, and then you put the goals and the action steps and the habits that are going to help get you to the health and the life that you want, I tell you, it gives you shivers. It makes you so much more excited about where you're going. Take Shape for Life can give you that vehicle if you decide to fully plug into the system. The pictures that I'm sharing on the screen are people that I know personally that have created optimal health and who've created an optimal life with Take Shape for Life. And you can have it too. It just takes a personal decision to plug in and to contact your coach. So as I wrap up tonight, the question of why do you want to achieve optimal health? What would be the benefits of doing it? Well, hopefully you got a good idea tonight, but exactly one half of your life is based upon the word if. If you spell out the word life, L-I-F-E, if is right in the middle. And let's just think for a moment, if you're not optimally healthy and at your peak level of health, how would your family life be? How would your faith be? What would relationships be like with your friends? What would your relationship be like with your friends this summer because you don't feel confident in a swimsuit? What will your relationships be like because you can't be active because maybe you haven't optimized your health? You've lost weight, but you've never exercised, or you've never done something that's maybe pushing you outside your comfort level. How would you feel about yourself if you were optimally healthy? What kind of fun in your life would change if you were in optimal health? How about your career or your firm? How would that change if you were optimally healthy? Take your current health and times it by 10. What would that look like if you were in optimal well-being? What about your finances? Pretty powerful, right? There's reasons to change and there's reasons to stay the same. A lot of different reasons to stay the same. Comfort, conflict, maybe your spouse doesn't want to change, so you don't change. It requires you to make choices that are hard. Coping, maybe you use food as a drug and it's accepted in your world. It's accepted at your church, it's accepted in your family, so you just continue to use it. There's lots of reasons not to do it, but there's also reasons to do it. What's next for you? Is it optimizing your body fat? Is it optimizing your nutrition or fluid intake? Are you needing to optimize your internal numbers, your biometric numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol? Maybe it's your activity, your exercise, your fitness, strength. Maybe it's just sleep, or maybe your energy levels. You need to get a handle on that. It's the idea of maybe creating a healthier support system and a stress management system. Or maybe it's the idea of optimizing relationships and creating more purpose and mission to your life. Maybe it's the idea of optimizing your life and joining us and getting America Healthy as a health coach and just doing it in your spare time and your part-time, or maybe even doing it full-time if you so desire. We would love to have you be a part of our mission to get America healthy. And I hope that tonight you got the desire to go create an optimal health plan and that you contact your coach. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Have a great night, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
The preceding audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.